Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for joining us our space tonight on on the Decod3rs channel and on the Twitter space for a new Decod3rs Show. And tonight we're receiving like my role model, like literally my role model. I want to become what he's doing every day, like in the Web3, CryptoApe Zero or CryptoApe, I guess. Who basically who's investing as a business angel and like for the have early investment in multiple company. Basically, it's the reason why we are started Decod3rs is to share like the mindset of like legit investors or people who know exactly what they're doing, and to bring this mindset into the Web3 industry, like in opposition in a way of like the Degen mindset. I want to ask you a lot of questions, crypto, and let's see how we go from there. And thank you so much, man, for accepting my invitation.
Yeah, for sure, bro. I'm super excited, and that's definitely excited to chat more about all the things that are happening, and go more into detail.
Exactly. That's gonna be nice because again, like your mindset, I'm sure like it's gonna be what hopefully like we will on the Decod3rs channel like we bring to people up to, because that's the next level of investing. And I hope like people will enjoy this live. But before anything else, let me just make a little like sponsor announcement. Tonight is the first night where we are like going to be officially sponsored by a company and a project, a Web3 project, and it's going to be Asset Dash. So if you don't have a portfolio tracker yet, download Asset Dash. You will find all of the link in the description. It's basically portfolio app where you can track your crypto performance, but also NFT and stock. And also, one of the first partner of the channel, we will have like a big event on the May 5th for the greatest giveaway ever. So you don't want to miss this event, this stream. And to get that, you will need to download the app, open some fortune cookies, and pray to like win a couple of like greatest giveaway ever tickets. So you have a chance to win some over some price. And that's the first official sponsor announcement of the channel. Man, that's even exciting, man. And crypto, you're part of the history because that's happening on your stream.
Love it, bro. Love it. I'm super excited.
Okay, so again, like you are like a Web3 business angel. So for the person like that are not really familiar with like a business angel is, like, can you like introduce everyone to that kind of like activity and what do you do on your daily basis?
Yeah. So I'll give you a quick introduction. So I'm not only a business like angel investor, I also run a Web3 consulting company called Multi-Chain Advisors. So
Yes.
we do Web3 consulting for startups and NFT projects and Web3 companies, in the crypto space, and focus on go-to-market strategy, partnerships, collabs, all that stuff. And so that's like the main business, Multi-Chain Advisors. And outside of that, I also do some personal angel investing in
Nice.
certain projects, certain companies, and I have done that for like I've done it since the last crypto bull market, and I've been doing it this last few years as well. So it's been super exciting.
Nice. Yeah, you are like a crypto 2017 guy, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That was good. Yeah. So you basically saw like the full cycle of like bull market, bear market, bull market, bear market again. That's I hope you learn like some great lessons, man.
Lots, man. Always learning.
Yeah.
There's unlimited lessons to be learned in crypto.
You know, 100%. And like, what's your experience like before that? Like before Web3, like, did you have like an experience in like investing in Web2 startup or like business like that?
Yeah. So before this,
Mm.
I'm a CPA in Canada,
Nice.
and so I worked with a lot of companies, and figured like help them financial statements, forecasts and all that stuff on the finance side. And then I went on to work in banking for a bit, and then I moved to California like 5 years
Nice.
ago, and I worked as a management consultant for startups and mergers and acquisitions, and did a bunch of business consulting stuff. And then like last year or about a year ago, I started Multi-Chain Advisors and went full-time Web3 and moved back to Canada. So that's a bit about
Nice.
myself.
Wonderful, man. That's the perfect background to like crush it like in this beer market and get ready to like for the next bull run. It's you have everything in your hands, man, like to go like really big in the next 3 to 5 years, man.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's definitely you know obviously timing has to work out and macro
Mhm.
has to work out, but yeah, we think compared to all the other not even like companies out there, but we think we're pretty well positioned in terms of like our experience and expertise,
Mhm.
and what plans we have going into the next bull run. I think it'll be very interesting. But end of the day, like the main goal here is still survival until the bull market,
Yeah.
and ensuring continuous building throughout the bear market. That's the key.
Yeah, oh, 100%. And like, okay, let's get like straight up, like straight out on the main topic. Like, who is Web3 and NFT is like a new asset class for investing, or it's more gambling?
It's a bit of both, to be honest.
Yeah, okay.
It's a bit of both. you know, uh, it's very much gambling, and that's definitely why we see a lot of, especially on Solana, we've
Mhm.
seen a lot of these casino projects, blow up in terms of like, lots of volumes, a lot of people
Yeah.
gambling every day, a lot of rev share for casino projects. So it's definitely a lot of, gambling for sure. And everyone, even flipping NFTs, JPEGs, it's all gambling. It's crypto is itself is a big gamble,
Yeah.
but it is also a different type of asset class, right? Tokenization of asset classes, NFTs. This is only one. This is only one small. This is a tip of the iceberg of what NFTs can become,
100%.
right? And NFTs are really just tokenized assets, right? It's not only tokenized like it's not only digital assets that are tokens, but you
Mhm.
can tokenize like in real life assets like real estate, intangible assets. There's so
Yeah.
many different things, assets that you can tokenize. But right now we're doing the basic first layer, which is just tokenizing like PFPs and creating art on the blockchain, and
Mhm.
that's kind of what we're doing, digital art. And that with that comes community and all this other stuff, which is where we're at right now. Eventually I do think more and more like in real life assets are going to get tokenized, and that's when things can get really interesting.
And like, okay, so you haven't mentioned like crypto is still a gambling, right? So you don't believe like crypto right now is too big to fail at the short and long term?
Hard to say, because
Yeah,
whenever someone says too big to fail,
then it
that's
failed.
very dangerous. Because
Yeah.
it's very dangerous when that happens. It's anything can happen in the space. This is
Mm.
obviously a $1.2 trillion market cap. Crypto is $1.2 trillion.
Yeah.
Of that, 500 $40 billion is Bitcoin itself. So Bitcoin is probably too big to fail. Like no one can stop Bitcoin.
Yeah. Okay.
Just the way Bitcoin is created, like the mechanics behind it, it's unstoppable,
Hmm.
and it's also an international asset. So that's probably too big to fail in terms of like government trying to actually shut it down.
Hmm.
But everything else is anything can happen, right? These
Yeah.
teams, these blockchains, they're all centralized.
Yeah.
There's always teams behind them, and government can shut those teams down. Obviously, if the people are really like focused and believe in the cause, they'll leave the country and go build somewhere else. So it all
Hmm.
depends, but there's definitely risk. So I wouldn't say it's too big to fail. It's too early, I think, for that.
Okay. Okay, but like, okay, so if Bitcoin is like starting to reach that point, like, for example, if we could like think of like if you want to take profit, then you can take into like if you don't want to cash out like directly in fiat, then you can like get back to Bitcoin, and that then Bitcoin will become your store of value, right? That could be a strategy.
That could be a strategy, yeah.
Okay.
If this whole thing was imploding, BTC is always going to be a hedge, right?
Mhm.
In one way or another, it's going to be a hedge against like the banking institutions, and it can also be a hedge against crypto, right? So
Yeah.
in bear markets, we usually see BTC, ratio going up pretty significantly.
100%. Like, and yeah, it's kind of tricky, like to like get into like stable coin and stuff like that, because that, like, again, they are not too big to fail, right? So like if you have like a black swan on any like a stable one, that could be tricky. But yeah, like if you can absorb like, I don't know, like 50, 60, 70% don't run with Bitcoin, at least you save like a portion of your portfolio. So personally, I think like this BTC exit going to be my strategy for the next bull run, if I'm able to catch the top.
Yeah, for sure, bro. I mean, BTC is obviously, people have different opinions, but I think BTC is a relatively safe crypto asset, that not safe in terms of a financial investment, like not safe in terms of like volatility. It's going to be very volatile. It's always been volatile. There's a potential that it can become maybe less volatile as the price increases. But BTC is going to be, I think, there. It's still going to be there. Like no one can stop it, just the way the mechanics are. So I know like there's a lot of companies that started to allocate some of their reserves and their cash to BTC just because of inflation and everything. This was like one of the starts of the last crypto bull market was this. Obviously, this is happening. They all got wrecked with FTX because they probably use FTX, to do that. So it's actually unfortunate that's the case. But I do think after all this negative stigma about crypto like kind of goes away, I do think people will start thinking more about that again.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's my personal thesis too. And like, okay, so what would be like investment thesis right now? Like, what kind of investment are you looking for? Like, what do you do?
Yeah. So, in terms of investments, like if we're talking on the investment side, like I don't actually actively look for investments. Investments kind of just come to me. Like because if you invest in a few companies as an angel, or if you're in these specific groups where investments are like the purpose of that group, there's always going to be investment opportunities that are thrown in there because people always need money, right? Projects always need money. People always need money, especially in this market. There's abundance of project, and every single one of them needs financing in one way or another. So whenever I come across a unique opportunity, and usually it's actually projects that I actually work with, or I'm very closely I know about them. I like to invest in things that I'm at least somewhat knowledgeable on, and some projects that I have some kind of connection with, right? Like some of the last few projects that I invested in, HelioPay. I'm an advisor for HelioPay.
Nice.
So and for me that valuation was very fair, and team has a great track record. So now we're going into what I look for in investments, but team has a great track record. They've already scaled and sold 2 companies in the past. A very mature, experienced team, very great insights, and they've been in the tech space. They have what it takes to win, and the valuation was really cheap. So for me, that made sense. So I invested in that. Other projects I've invested in the past, Tensor, I put some money into that just because, I thought it was a really good idea, pro trading plus aggregator and all that. And they've done extremely well in this market because, that opportunity was there. Other projects I've invested, actually, these are all mostly the Solana projects I invested in. Helium is a project I invested in. It's a one, sorry, not Helium, it's Helius, Helius. But I invested in these guys, and that's also, that one was more like because they're just like building a lot of infrastructure, and team is like looked very bullish. When I was looking into it, and the founder was Helios Labs. Founder was pretty active and knew what he was doing, and valuation was really good as well. So looked through the deck, made sense, did some research, and it was an infrastructure play and more of a play on Solana, like betting on Solana, which I'm obviously betting on Solana. So that's something I'm bullish on. So that's kind of why I did that. So these are just some of the previous investments I've made. There's a few more, but and Sharkify is another one. I'm also the advisor for Sharkify, so that one's pretty pretty easy reason why I invested. Also, they're the number one lending protocol in all of crypto. They have had an increase in volume on a weekly basis ever since they started, since they launched the product. And when a product or when an application is getting increased volume and all-time highs on a weekly basis in a bear market, that makes me like wonder about like how crazy is the opportunity in a bull market. So these are just some examples of like some of the projects I invested in the past. In 2017, I invested in a bunch of other projects. I actually invested in a bunch of DeFi projects before DeFi was even a thing. So if you guys remember, DeFi summer didn't take off until like 2020. That's when DeFi summer started. And I invested in 2017 in DeFi summer. Yeah, so there's a few DeFi projects that, and these are all like more Ethereum based projects that I invested in. Some of them did well. Some of them actually just disappeared. These are more like token investments in specific startups. But there's a few that did really well, and that was good. And yeah, I invested a lot of investments. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, some of them pay off, some of them don't.
Yeah, but looks like you only invest in winners, so that's good, man.
I try, bro. I try. That's the thesis. As I've invested more and more, I've become more and more very picky. I become more and more picky with the money that I invest into projects.
100%. And like, what are you looking for into like the team, like the founders? Like, what for you is a good Web3 founder?
Someone who's like in tune with like the markets.
Okay.
Like not like the price on the markets, but someone who's in tune with like what's happening in the markets, market trends, what's happening in crypto, what's happening outside of crypto. Like someone who's in tune with that is I think, one of the key things that is needed. And for that, you need experience.
Yeah.
You need experience outside of crypto. You need experience in crypto. And so those are some things I look for, like how much of a good leader are they? Can they manage a team? Can they lead a team? Can they sell people on their vision? Right. Those are some of the things I'm looking for when I'm investing in a founder, when I'm looking at it like a founder. Like, do these people believe in the project, and can they sell other people on the project? Because if you can do that, then that's the key, right? So, those are some of the things. And like technical capabilities of like, if they're building something very technical, I would expect the founder to understand, what that is and how that works. And if it's not super technical, I'd want them to have like some kind of experience in that space. So that's where kind of the expertise comes into play.
That's amazing, man. And can you like name like one founder that you like that can match this portrait, but you are not investing?
Oh, one founder. Well, I mean, I think that's a hard question.
Oh, but
there's a few. I'd say like like maybe like Frank.
Okay.
Frank Decod3rs. He's very good at selling people on his vision. He's very good at understanding the market, especially inside of crypto. And he's, I wouldn't say he's experienced, but he knows the crypto space, so he's experienced in the crypto space. And he's got a good team backing him, right? So clearly there's a huge community that's bought in on this vision. There's a huge team, a pretty competent team that's bought in on this vision. So that's Frank is an example of a founder that has many of those criteria. He doesn't have the technical criteria, but like what he's building, there isn't any technical. Like Decod3rs isn't a technical. Decod3rs isn't a technical like what's it called?
Technical player. Yeah,
it's not a technical project. It's more like it's an NFT project, right? It's a community type project with all that. So that's like a project. Like if I was to invest in Decod3rs, a company, like right? Because I've had Decod3rs, I've had Utes, like I've sold it. Like some guy over here said business angel that hasn't invested in Decod3rs. No, I've invested. I've sold in the past. I've made some money off of it. So yeah, that's
all what matters, man.
Yep.
So like, okay, so if we talk about this meta, like, community project versus like builders, like the markets don't really like reward like the true builders of the ecosystem, but like more or less like even on ETH, right? Like the people who are able to build a community around them and like create some hype on the crypto Twitter, right? So do you think this like paradigm shift anytime soon? or do you think like the community side of it will always be on like the top of the market cap in NFTs?
I think community is always going to be a big factor for NFTs.
Okay.
Because the main reason being is like end of the day, if this is a project that you want to invest in, if you're getting equity in the company, aka ownership of the company, then utility matters a lot, right?
Yeah.
Because you want the utility to be amazing, because eventually utility equals money, and money equals dividends, right?
Yeah.
Back to you as an equity holder. With NFTs is a bit different because you have to watch the lines between security and the lines between like what's it called, the lines between security and the line between not a security is very like it's a fine line, right?
Yeah.
So like utility is great, like it's important, like obviously to have utility. Projects that are associated with NFTs that are associated with successful projects will be successful one way or another, right? Famous Fox is the greatest example. They don't have any rev share, but people are still, the floor price is still high, but they still have a community, right? But like, that's something that there's always, community is always going to be a big aspect of this, because you can't directly be like, hey, this is an equity, like this company, if this company is successful, your NFTs are not going to necessarily be successful unless you make it in a way without making it illegal. You know what I mean? So I do think, for that reason, communities will always be a big factor. If this was an equity investment, then it's a different story, because then community doesn't matter, right? Then you're investing in the company. If the company makes profits, no one cares what the NFTs look like, because you're an equity holder, you're going to make your money.
Yeah, 100%. And like with like a multi-chain, like your company, Waven, like personally, like do you invest more into like infrastructure play, like for like all of the company, like for example AO play, etc., or like NFTs, like, and you buy the JPEGs?
Yeah, we do a bit of both. Like we don't usually, like mostly with our clients, we just buy their JPEGs, like the NFTs. Usually every project that I have as a client, I support them by buying their NFTs, buying into their pre-sale or whatnot, right? Like usually that's something we do. Sometimes it works out, most of the time it does, sometimes it doesn't, but that's just the name of the game. But we like to have our skin in the game in one way or another. But in certain cases, when those are utility projects, right? Like those, like when they're like utility projects like Helio, when they're utility projects like Sharkify, we actually invest in the company as well. So on an equity basis, if it makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, you can mix both, and like honestly, this is really like cool. And because again, like it's adding like a layer to like the investment activity with like a new asset class, and like what we are living right now, like it's like the creation of internet, but again, right? Like it's a paradigm shift in investment and in so many industries that you have to be in Web3 right now, because that's exactly where like everything that's gonna happen and gonna be shaped for the next 10 years, 20 years, man. Like it's fascinating.
It's an interesting space, and it is. I'm always thinking like, what is going to happen in this space? Is it going to take off immediately? Is it going to take some time for it to take off? Like, I'm not completely sure what the answer is. Like it might take a while. It might take a few years. Maybe it takes like 5 years, right, for this to really take off. And maybe it looks completely different than what it looks like right now. But I do think, what makes me bullish about this space is more so like the amount of, builders and the amount of like smart people who are in this space. That's what makes me bullish. Like there's clearly some, in one way or another, like everyone came here to make money. Originally, everyone came to crypto to make money. But a lot of us have stayed behind because, obviously there's still money is still a big factor. Like everyone still wants to make money, but many people have stayed behind for other reasons, like, like community, right? They've stayed behind because they want to go to these events. They want to meet people. They want to network with people. They want to, build stuff. They want to build community, stuff like that. So there's a lot of different, things that have come out of this. So I'm very bullish on the community aspect. The people still here in the bear market when like not everyone is making money is very bullish. And the the people who are building in the space, especially on Solana, like there's so much development in Solana, right? Like today we just saw like Render token is moving to Solana. Helium is coming over next week or in like 10 days. Like there's so much news right now and there's so much things happening. It's just very bullish, right? Like Solana just released today that they got compression. They just released a compression thing where you can mint 1 million NFTs for way cheaper than all the other blockchains. So there's just so much happening right now. It's very interesting.
Yeah, no, 100%. And like, okay, so when you say like 5 years, for you, is that long term?
5 years, like, sorry, what was that?
Like, because, okay, so my question is, it's more like, because, like in Web2, like when you do a seed, like generally like the timeline for the investment, like to expect a return could be between like 7 to 10 years, right? So in crypto, it will be a bit faster, obviously, because like, again, everything like in 2 weeks, like the whole meta can change and like your project become irrelevant after 2 weeks. But like, so I understand like, yeah, 5 years could be like the Web2 10 years. But like, I mean, are we still at the same horizon of investment? But yeah, like the industry can change in that time frame. But like, what would be like the difference between like a Web2 investment and a Web3, Web3 company at that, like if you compare both of the industries?
I mean, if it's a token investment, it's way, way quicker, right? Like,
yeah, that's true.
You're talking about like 2 to 3 year exit. Usually every bull run, has like a 2 to 3 year, like, variance in between, the previous bull run. So like, if you're talking about tokens, that's a very quick exit. You invest 2 years ago and you get to exit in 2 years, and maybe it's a 2, 3, 5, 10x, maybe 100x. That's unheard of in the the normal investment industry. That's unheard of. Like people don't get that. Like people like, for example, some of the biggest gains that Sequoia Capital made was 1,400x on Dropbox, but that took them like 14, 20 years or something to get that, right? And that's a huge amount of time. But in 2 years, if you can get like even 50x, even 10x is humongous. So crypto is way quicker, and I don't know how the macro is going to change this, to be honest. That's the biggest thing. That's like that's the biggest thing, is like a bomb. Like that's the thing that no one knows what could happen. Like it's like I forgot the name of it. What's it called? It's a wild card, right? Like the macro is a wild card, because BTC halving is next year. Usually you would expect crypto to start pumping up, in one way or another. Like crypto and BTC and alts will start pumping up like 8 months before BTC halving, which is around like September, October of this year, right? That's when you would expect things to start pumping again. But like this time is weird, because now we just had we just barely skipped a banking crisis. We have inflation that's like crushing it, like really high inflation, which may start coming down just because of all the job losses and all the things that's happening right now. But we have high inflation. We have companies like letting go of people, laying people off left and right. Like we haven't had a weird situation like this, and we're technically like in a recession. So we haven't had a situation like this in like ever since crypto started. Crypto started right after the banking crisis, so it's only been in a secular bull run for the last like 15 years. And so this is a weird part. So I don't know if like what this is gonna do, because this might extend, the next bull run. It might create like many small mini bull runs in a bear market. And then the main bull run might happen like maybe in like 2 years, 3 years, or maybe there is no main bull run. Maybe the bull runs are really small bull runs. We never know what's gonna happen. So if that happens, then it's gonna be very interesting, right? So that's kind of my take.
Okay, and because of this uncertainty, like, are you slowing down your investment or like changing your thesis a bit? Like, do you adapt to it, or do you take any actions?
I mean, for us, we are very picky. Like we're very picky with our investments. We're not investing in anything that, unless like it makes sense based off the criteria as I mentioned. For me, valuation is very important. And another key aspect is it a token investment or an equity investment, right? So like in some cases, I will do equity investments, but equity investments are also risky, because you might not get a payout for a really long time. But usually if in the
Yes.
crypto world, if there's a token associated with it, or if there's an ICO or an ideal, usually those equities get rolled over into, those other
Yeah.
tokens. So you get a one for one, like, with a warrant, or like, one way or another, like you're going to get a part of that token allocation.
Yeah.
So that's the only benefit about crypto. But yeah, we have been, just kind of watching, like we're just watching and seeing, like I'm looking around. I think AI has some opportunities, but I also think there's a huge, like, FOMO on AI right now that
Hmm.
like really might not play out properly. Like we'll see how that goes. But AI is an area that I'm looking into, like for my next investment, either
Nice.
something AI crypto related, or even like small, like AI startup that's doing something completely different that no one else is doing, or like an add-on to existing AI products or something like that. So that's kind of what I'm keeping an eye out for. I want to learn
Hmm.
more about the AI industry, but that's about it. So in terms of other investments, like I'm not really looking into anything right now,
Okay.
unless a really good opportunity falls on my lap.
Okay, that makes sense. And like, man, like if you can find a project like Web3 NFT project with like a good use case for AI, that's a banger, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If there's something like that could happen, and even if it's not NFT related, maybe it could just be
Mhm.
crypto and AI. Maybe the NFT side is not even in there. Maybe they could add that in later. But if there's a company that can do that, that would be very interesting.
Yeah, no, 100%. And like, have you played like with like the recently like the update with ChatGPT, etc.? Like, do you see that taking over? Like, yeah, what would be your take of like the new updates of that sector of the industry?
Well, I think that's huge, right? I think that's
Yeah,
already, replaced so many different jobs, right? Like Google search has become almost irrelevant now.
100%.
ChatGPT is like so much better. It's more personalized. It gives you
Mm,
exactly what you want, and you can keep asking it repetitive like questions to build on top of the original question you asked. So ChatGPT is amazing in that. It's also very useful for planning trips. So trip advisors,
mm,
and like travel agents are kind of be canceled now, because ChatGPT with plugins can now search up flights. It can search up like travel itineraries and stuff like that. So that's another
mm,
thing. Eventually, a lot of admin work can be transferred over to ChatGPT, because you can just send it like paragraphs of information and have it summarize it and like just do all these different things. So I think it is very useful, and it's going to be very, I think it's a game changer if people know how to use it.
yeah. I know 100%. Like, yeah, again, like that's what I was saying at the beginning of the show. Like the next upcoming years will be like even at the macro level, because like you said, like there is a lot of uncertainty, and be like a witness of what's gonna happen in the next 10 years. This is fascinating at so many levels in terms of tech, economy, like economic, politics, etc. I'm so happy that I'm alive right now, man.
Yeah, this is an interesting time to be alive,
Yeah.
but also a very, very scary time to be alive. There's gonna be a lot of implications for this for us.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, yeah, but I mean, if we can control the future, right? We just need to build our own one.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Uh,
Well, I mean, the scary part is like there's just the world is just in a weird spot right now, right? Like
yeah,
geopolitics is crazy. China is like kind of rising up. Saudi Arabia is kind of doing its thing.
yeah,
All the BRIC countries are kind of like like forming alliances. So everyone's trying to go for the king, which is the U.S. right
mhm,
now, and the U.S. dollar. So it's a very interesting situation, and we're now starting to see countries like ban AI. So Italy just banned AI like
mm.
last week. They said no more ChatGPT. Too much information. They're taking too much information, and they don't like it. So, right. So we're gonna slowly start seeing that as well. So it's gonna be very interesting.
But it doesn't make sense to ban a tech per se. Like, it's like, okay, I can understand, yeah, don't put like confidential information into chat GPT because you don't know where that shit is going, right? 100%. But like once the Pandora box is open, like you can stop it, right? It's like saying, oh yeah, no, I'm against like nuclear energy, but like it's too late. Like if you are a country saying no to nuclear power, then another one will do it, and then you will lose your like competitive advantage against that country, right? It's going to be the same thing for AI or even crypto, right? Like, how do you ban Bitcoin? Like, it doesn't make sense, right? All of that technology, I think, needs to be empowered by countries. And the one that will ban them, like, they will probably lose like over the long term, I think.
No, 100%, 100%.
Yeah.
I do think. Sorry, one second. Yeah, I do think banning tech is probably not the best way
Yeah.
to do things. I agree with that. It's very weird. I can see the dangers of AI. Like I can
Yeah.
see the dangers of AI for sure. Like I can see why a country might not want to have AI, pretty much taking all that information and
Mhm.
maybe utilizing for the wrong things, or maybe that information, that data is going to the wrong parties. Right?
Yeah.
I can see that for sure. With crypto, it makes less sense to me.
Mm.
Like, what are they banning? Like, why are they banning it? Like FTX, obviously, I understand. Like, okay, FTX, left a very bad, reputation for crypto
Yeah.
and really, really screwed things over. But everything else, it's like,
Yeah.
why? Well, like, why do they need to do all this stuff right now? Like, why do they have to go after banks that have crypto, startups in there? Like,
Exactly.
they're trying to destroy an industry that is already $1.2 trillion, in
Yeah.
market cap, and it doesn't make
Mm.
sense to me. And it's not like crypto, like obviously there's a lot of scams in crypto and whatnot, but that's not coming from crypto companies. Like
Yeah.
people in the crypto space who are legit are not doing that. And that's coming from people who are anonymous, like outside of the US, like some other place in the world, like maybe North Korea or something. Like that's
Mhm.
where like a lot of these hacks are coming from, right? These scams.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't make sense to be banning and blocking like, normal citizens who are just, want to do whatever they want with their money. Like they shouldn't be, blocked from all this.
100%. Okay, quick question from VP. Why is AI illegal? You said Italy, right?
Italy, yeah.
Yes. Okay. That. I'm never gonna go in Italy ever again. I never went, but like whatever. Okay, so let's go back into like the investment mindset for a minute. Like, what your and VP is moving to Italy. Yeah, I'm sorry, VP. Looks like we're never gonna meet each other like in real life. Then I can't. I don't want to go in a country where it's banned. But okay, so like about the investment, like the investment mindset, like there is kind of like a generic behavior of like going like the Degen mindset, like going from one meme to another and flip it and like flip the NFTs and like just yeah, like spamming the Magic Eden Launchpad. And you have like what I call like the rational investor mindset, basically what you are doing, right? With like looking for to invest into the team more than a project itself, and like then you will have argument on why you are buying the JPEGs, right? But like, do you see a benefit of like the Degen mindset in a way, or maybe just it can work for like a daily trader that gonna have like 300% performances and PNL, but like it's gonna last for 2 months max. So do you see any benefit into the Degen mindset, or is it, or even maybe is that a maturity thing, like in the market? Like, what's your take on that?
Um, hmm, that's interesting. The benefit to the Degen mindset. I mean, here's the thing, right? Like even people who invest in even people who invest in like early stage companies and early stage
Yeah.
startups, they're all degens, right? They're taking a big risk
Okay.
with their money, and they're putting that money into ideas that may or may not make it. They may or may not you know like make any money off it. Most of the time those are going to $0. So
Mm-hmm.
that is a very much a degen mindset in a way. uh I think obviously the degen mindset here is a bit different because like people are buying and selling for like $20 gains, which is
Yeah.
obviously crazy, right? So I do know what you mean. Like it's a very interesting situation that we have in the space where the degens are kind of like really I don't know, pressuring projects or like acting in a way that creates like some kind of like narrative. But I will say that for the most part I do think it's normal. I think it's completely normal. Like the degen mindset it's not only in crypto, right? Like it's already in like stocks. It's in
Hmm.
everything that we
Yeah.
do. Like cards. People collect cards. They're degens. Like there's always going to be degens everywhere. Like casinos, everything like that.
Hmm.
That's just a part of human nature, I think.
Yeah.
So like I don't necessarily think it's too bad for the ecosystem. Like I think it's just a normal part of it. Right now, there's probably more degens than investors,
Hmm.
which does cause issues with projects getting flooded or dumping to the floor.
Yeah.
But eventually, hopefully, we get more investors than degens. But I
Yeah.
think, yeah, yeah. Sorry, go on.
Oh, sorry, I interrupted you. But like, do you think like if you want to play the NFT game, it's more profitable and more benefit for you to like adopt that like business angel thesis than just buying everything that have more like 40K Twitter followers, but like half of them is boarded anyway.
Um, Sorry, like, could you explain that a bit?
Yeah, sure, sure. Like instead of like buying like all of the hype project and like without asking yourself like what's the team looks like, what like the founders can execute on the roadmap, etc., etc. Like and what's the background of the founder, for example. Like just like minting again, like on Magic Eden, every project on the Launchpad that have more like 50K Twitter followers instead of like digging and doing like more research about again the team and being rational investors. Like which game do you think is more profitable?
Hmm. This is very hard because you know what? Like, I do think betting on founders is a way to be the most profitable
Okay.
because you can just buy. Like, I don't think most money is made from flipping NFTs,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think most money is made from buying something and holding it for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, make high conviction plays, like not only in like NFTs but stocks, everything in life. I
Okay.
think high conviction plays with
Mm-hmm.
decent amount of liquidity is what makes big money. That's where you create whales. Buying and flipping stuff, you can make money off of it here and there. You can lose money off it here and there, but I don't think that's the best way. You can make small like change here and there, but I think if you want to really make big money, like you got to buy and hold something throughout the turbulence and the risk, and that's when it pays off or doesn't, right? But I think that's a key to success. So I'm of the mindset that you do your research,
Mm-hmm.
you meet the team, whatnot, you commit, you align with the vision, and then you go hard and you buy hard, and that could help you do
Yeah.
your thing.
100%. Like yeah, that I'm completely with you on that line. And okay, so if you had like 50 SOL to invest right now, and you want to build your portfolio, what would you do?
This is like NFT investment, right?
Yes. Like
Okay.
you have a budget like of 50 SOL, so which is like basically $100. Okay, even like okay 500. Okay, no, just 50 SOL, so $100.
For
Um,
50 souls, like $1,000, right?
yeah. So yeah, like 1,000 bucks. So 50 SOL. What would you do to make it like to build your portfolio?
But this is for investing in NFTs, right? Not
Yes, yes,
tokens.
yes, yes.
Okay.
I mean,
For
now
me,
you can do token, you can do NFT, all crypto related.
hmm, that's a hard one. Because I mean, if it's just tokens, I would just buy Solana. I
Okay.
think right now Solana is like in a pretty, like, obviously it can go down,
Mm-hmm.
but like for me right now, this is one of the most and I posted this like in December, like right before New Year started. I bought like a decent amount of Solana, and I posted this, and it's like the pinned tweet on my Twitter account. And I said right now, like, this is probably the most asymmetrical trade right now,
Okay.
like that I'm seeing, based off of not only the fear in the market, but also the just like looking at Solana in comparison to other projects in the top like 20, top 10 to 20 market caps in crypto, and
Mm-hmm.
just look at what Solana is building and where it's at. And this is one of the bigger asymmetrical bets. And I think right now, even at $20, I still think it's one of the most asymmetrical bets in terms of blockchain, just based off of just a few things that I mentioned, right? Like render moving to Solana, that's going to bring DeFi to Solana, right? Like that's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of liquidity, and DeFi, a lot of LPs are going to start getting created. Like there's going to be a lot of things with that. So DeFi will be coming back. Helium is coming to Solana next week or the week after. Like compression just released on Solana, like NFT compression. Like it's just so much things. Fire dances are coming up soon as well. So sorry. So like Solana for me seems like a pretty decent bet. Like if I'm looking to hold it for like 6 to 12 months,
Okay.
or until the next bull run, I think Solana seems like a pretty good bet for me. It might be volatile, but that's an easy bet for me. If we're talking NFTs, I think Sharkify is a good one with 50 Solana. I think I would definitely grab Sharky. This is a number one lending like NFT. Like this is a number one NFT lending protocol on Solana and also crypto. In all of crypto, like this is a number one lending protocol by volume, which is insane, right? Because Solana is like number 12 or 11 in market cap.
Yeah.
And like, there's an application on the lending side that is beating every single other blockchain combined together. So that's huge,
cool.
Right? So I think that's just going to continue growing. I think there's a huge opportunity over there. I think that's pretty undervalued, just based off of all the things that they have coming up. I think that's a good one. With the other, let's say, because that's like around like 15 SOL floor price. Like, so I have like 35 Solana left. I think with 35 Solana, I would probably buy.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, maybe, I know Elixir is building a lot. I think that could be a pretty good bet. They have a good community behind it as well. And they're at like, 18 Solana. So that seems like a pretty decent bet for me. So these are both utility projects, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's something to keep in mind. I think Wise Whales is at 5.6 Solana, very undervalued in my opinion, with the low supply collection. I think, they're doing, like they have a lot of, alpha, so you can buy and sell stuff. That's really good. And then, yeah, man. And then with the remaining, I would probably just buy some, clay makers or something. Get some, get some clay makers and like clays. Get some, easy flips in the Solana, into the Clayno ecosystem, because those are definitely going to go up just based off of how much the Clayno's floor price is. So those are just some things I'm thinking. But there's so many different there's so many different things to buy. Like geckos screams to me as like a really good buy. Like galactic geckos, I'm bullish on those guys. There's just so many different things to buy at 50 Solana.
Nice. That's definitely interesting. And like, what do you think of the project like have like a token attached to there and where you can start also build your liquidity? I'm thinking like, for example, about like ABCs where you get like the RS token, or even like the Smiths when you get Forge. And like right now, the price action of like Forge is quite low. But then if you can start collecting a lot of token, then you can also build your bag of Solana if it's a relatively small one, right? Like, is that a play for you or not really?
I'm not really bullish on tokens that release, like get emitted from NFT projects, unless there's a legit utility behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I mean, if there's a legit utility behind it, I think it makes sense. I think, we've seen that with ABCs where the token dropped, but then, people just dumped the token and then the price of the token went down, and eventually the NFT price also went down, right? Because the entire speculation is out the window. So that was an interesting case study on that. I think if there's good enough utility and there's like legit governance and other things that are in play that can help reduce the supply. It's obviously, this is Ponzi-nomics, tokenomics, right? But like there has to be something on the other side. If it's just sell, and then everyone just buys to sell, it's a race to the bottom, and that's what happened with Hades. So I don't think if there's proper structure, I think that could work. That would be something that could work. Another situation would be like if the tokens have other utility outside of just like selling it, because if you can do something with it, like you know what I mean, like if you buy something for the purpose of selling it, you're only going to sell it, because all you can do is sell it. That's the only way you can make any benefit out of this. But if you buy something like a chair and you can sit on it, or if you buy something like food, you can eat it, or you can computer, you can use it every day, people are going to use it if it makes sense. So if there's like legit utilities associated with this, like I don't know, raffles, or like Sharky has an interesting way of like you could level up your sharks, right? And raffles and whatnot. Like there's so many different things that you can do.
Yeah.
with your tokens. And if that's the case, then that's bullish, because that allows me to do something that I don't just need to dump it. I can just collect these NFT, like these tokens, and I can, I can hoard them and do something later, or I can just utilize it right away and get some benefits.
Yeah, of course. That's a good point. We have Emmanuel in like the YouTube live. If I had 50 Sol, I will get a Nogi pod and 2 Wolf Capital, then keep some Sol from investing and minting other projects. Yeah, like Ogi is an interesting. And by the way, the reveal is tomorrow, right? So and we will stream it. So yeah, be there. That's gonna be a nice stream too. And Wolf Capital, yeah, that could be definitely an interesting project to follow up to. And okay, so that was the question when you mentioned like the investing in like as a business angel, like to a liquid versus illiquid asset. Like, what would be the benefit of like investing into infrastructure when like in the equity deal, when like you mentioned, like your asset are like locked for 3 to 5 years if there is no token. But with NFT and crypto, you have the investment and like the your investment, you have the JPEG, you have the token, whatever. And if you don't have like a vesting period that's going into like multiple years anyway, or if you buy it from on the secondary market directly, you can like keep your capital and keep it liquid, right? So what would be the benefit of you to lock away some capital in equity over like NFTs and token allocation?
Great question. So like one of the things is the fact that the NFT means nothing. Like it has no utility, there's no value, right? The difference between when you invest in a company, you get equity in it. So you have ownership in this company, and either there's dividends or whenever the IDO happens, you get to sell that. And if the company's successful, that could be a good amount of money. The NFT, unless there's rev share or there's some kind of token allocation for those NFTs, like there's no real benefit other than like community making the floor price go up, right? So that's a difference. But here's the thing. Here's another thing though. Like there's always community goodwill associated with it. So people might speculate that when an IDO happens, this NFT might get some kind of benefit, just because this company is doing well. Or if the company is doing really well, people might associate that success with the NFT and be like, hey, if this company is doing really well, the NFT floor price should be XYZ because the company is doing well. Most of the time, those don't really make sense because a company can be doing amazing. Example, Famous Fox, right? They're making like crazy amount of money every week. I think they're making like $100,000 or something, like $80,000, something stupid every week.
Yeah,
that's like millions and millions of dollars every year. But their floor price is only now starting to go up because like people are starting to, I guess, think about who can be another competitor for a blue chip. But for the longest time, their floor price was really bad.
Exactly.
Right. But they've been making this crazy amount of money for the longest time. $4.5 million divided by like what? I think their collection is like 7,500 supply.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's a crazy amount of money, right? Like let me do the math real quick. Like even if it's $4.5 million, that's just their annual revenues, that wouldn't even be their valuation, right? Divided by 7,500. I mean, I guess their floor price is actually more than what if their revenue was divided by 7,500 NFTs, it would be 30 Solana floor price, but their floor price is even higher than that. They're like 60 or something, right? So it's double. So it's in an interesting situation that like people have attributed the success of Famous Foxes with the floor price with the NFT because they expect like if the company is doing well, then the NFT should be getting some kind of benefits, and they do. But then the question is that worth 60 Solana, right? Is that worth 65 Solana, which is like what, like $1,200 for that NFT? So it's a very interesting situation, and but that goes to show, right? Like if you think a project is gonna do well, if you think if there's NFTs associated with that project, and it's the main purpose isn't just for the tokens to be given to the NFT, then there is definitely a good idea. It's a good idea to buy those NFTs, but maybe it's also a good idea to do both instead of just doing one, right? So yeah, it depends. But it's a really good question. Like NFTs have changed the game because like now you have a liquid asset that is an equity, but it's in some way like a loyalty program associated with this, with this application, or some kind of community badge that has like value for some reason just because other people want to buy it, right? So it's a very interesting situation.
Oh, and like, so basically you are using like those like business angel investment and liquid asset investment to also like not leverage, but like rebalance your portfolio in terms of risk management too, right? Because maybe like investing in Magic Eden is a bit less risky than to mint the next high project, right?
Yep, 100%.
Yeah. And like, yeah, in terms of risk reward, like, do you also like sweep the floor of like an established collection, or do you like prefer to mint and be early as possible in like the next blue chip pre-mint collection?
I like to do both actually.
Okay.
I like to be early, for NFT collections that I think are really gonna do well. I like to be very early. Like for example, I minted like a lot of I bought a lot of pre-sales for Sharkify. I think I bought like, I don't remember, like a very big amount, like $10,000 worth of pre-sales for Sharkify, and um like that was like pretty much sweeping the floor. But I've also bought like, I bought like 5 monkeys off the floor, like over the last, like, I don't know, like whole like 1 year, right? So I picked up NFTs off the floor, or like I've swept like geckos or like stuff like that. I do like sweeping collections if there's like huge catalysts coming, but I also like to invest heavy early in projects and go really hard with like, big investments, because those can pay off like, 5-6x on like $5,000 is, pretty big, right?
Yeah.
It adds up.
That's a new house, a new home.
Yeah.
And like what's happening with Monkey DAO and SMB right now? It's fascinating, man.
Very, very fascinating. This is the craziest thing I've seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
In crypto and NFTs. It's absolutely insane, to be honest. The fact that, the craziest part is, if anyone told you Degods were leaving Solana,
Yeah.
8 months ago, if anyone told you Degods were leaving Solana, you would have automatically thought, okay, that's good for Monkey DAO. That means SMBs are going to be like 500 Solana floor price, automatic, right? 5,000 supply. One of the biggest unique holder counts in the ecosystem. They have like 3,500 unique holders, right? You would have expected like that means, SMB goes to 500 Solana or like something crazy, because all that liquidity is going to go back to buying SMBs.
Yeah.
But the craziest part is like HG came and pretty much bought it like right before this acquisition was going to happen. And so all the benefits that Monkey DAO would have got from DGOD's leaving went over to all the other collections, everything except Monkey DAO. In fact, the liquidity left Monkey DAO, or SMB NFT floor price, got cut in half, and all that liquidity went to other projects. So it's like the timing is very, very bad. Like if this happened like 6 months after now, it would not be a big deal, because SMBs would have already been like 500, like 600 Solana floor price. But the fact that, this kind of drama is happening, right when the DGODs have left, is like the worst timing. Like this was like SMB Monkey DAO's opportunity to become like, mega blue chip again, like get back to like, $40,000, floor price. Like this was your chance to get back to, really good, floor price, and like they were always respected as an OG NFT project in Solana, but this would have helped like made them an OG blue chip.
Yeah.
And the next quote unquote blue chip, since DGODs have left. And the fact that the acquisition happened around the same time, like right when all this was happening, really screwed up their momentum, and actually made their momentum go to garbage, and now actually cut their floor price in half. So it's like really bad timing for them.
And so do you think it's like some bad timing, like bad luck, or like nefarious action, or incompetence, or a mix of everything?
Honestly, this could be many things, right? Like there's many ways of thinking about this, and I'm not implying anything over here, but if this is the scenarios, I'll break down the scenarios. One thing could have been, this is a hypothetical situation. Let's say HCE has an NFT collection and it was a 200 Solana floor price. It was one of the top collections before Haiti swap happened, right? and he sees Degods are leaving, and he wants to get Degod, like he wants ABC to be the top NFT again, right? He wants him to be top floor price NFT, and he knows there's only one real competitor in front of him, which is Monkey DAO. Because there's no, like, before Monkey DAO, like, and this HC beef happened, there's no disputes that, you know, once DGods leave, Monkey DAO is going to take over, right? So this is an easy way for him to just completely destroy the competition, right? Like without the IP, the Monkey DAO is in a mess. Like they're finished. Like it's like you go and you cut the head of the snake, you know, you go kill the king, you know, there's nothing, there's everyone's trying to find who's the next king. Like, you know, it's a big mess, right? So that's one situation. Like if he's a really, really smart guy, maybe that's something he thought of, and he pretty much took out the number one competition. But this actually backfired on him because the Haiti swap, the HB floor, like ABC floor price actually also went down because the drama actually was a, you know, double like catalyst, you know, like both parties got, you know, destroyed. So now it actually led opportunity for all the other projects like Famous Fox, Claynosaurs, you know, all the other new projects that minted to actually rise up and take all that extra liquidity. So that's one way of thinking about it. Another one could be like complete negligence, where like, you know, maybe HC bought it because he thought this was actually going to help him, you know, get like a, you know, a strong utility behind the Haiti swap, the Haiti token, and maybe that gives ABC floor price to go back again. That's another situation. So that there's two ways of thinking about one of them just could be you know, negligence. The other one could be nefarious. Third one could just be like bad luck, you know. I don't know, hard for me to say this was bad luck, because like if I was gonna buy something and there's a whole DAO that's been trying to buy this for the longest time, I feel like I would have known there's gonna be a lot of backlash. You know what I mean? I would know, like, you know, these monkeys are gonna come after my ass. They're gonna always, you know, they're gonna talk shit about me all the time. Monkeys are usually very vocal, like community leaders. So I would have expected that this is not gonna be a smooth, you know, acquisition, and that everyone's gonna hate me after this. So I think, you know, so it could be. So I don't think it's the third one. I think it's either the first option, where he's just kind of like, you know, take out the competition, but it ended up being a suicide bomb because he took out, you know, his own, you know, collections chance of being, you know, top blue chip, or it's just complete like negligence in terms of like he was not expecting this kind of, you know, like outcome to happen.
Yeah, I guess we will never know, man.
We won't. This is all hypothetical situation, you know. So
100%. And yeah, like in terms of like nefarious action, like so you mentioned like FTX debacle, right? Like which was supposed to be like the biggest regulated exchange in the US, but like obviously it failed because of like bad actors, protected by like the whole world and etc. with access and network, etc., etc. Like we all know the whole story. And with crypto and NFT, like we have the decentralization and like the non-regulated environment, right? Do you think it's possible to keep this whole market like completely, not completely because it's kind of regulated already, but like opaque, not attached to like impacted by future regulation, and we keep this decentralization, or like the regulation is like inevitable to have like the big companies jumping in and the institutional money to jump in?
Yeah, I think regulation is inevitable.
Yeah,
100%. Like the longer this happens, the longer we keep at this without having this regulated, and the more things that break, the more likely they're just going to ban it outright.
Yeah.
You know, so the sooner we get some kind of regulation in the door, some kind of fair regulation that is not like bullshit, you know, not like this, you know, like, you know, 85-year-old people telling us about crypto when they don't understand how the computer works.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like once if it's like real legit, like crypto regulations that can have like, you know, when there's two people who can, like two parties that can talk about it and come up with legit regulation, that's when the next real bull market happens.
Yeah, no,
because that's when then all the companies want to get into crypto. Everyone's going to want to get into crypto, and then the companies can start like monetizing this, you know, then it's game over.
Yeah. Like, how do you regulate a decentralized world? Like, are you going to ban me having a ledger in the bank, or like I can't own a wallet? Like, what do you do? Are you even like like regulate like the centralized exchange, but then I can install a VPN and go to Binance in Thailand or whatever, right? So do you have any idea how they can properly do that?
Yeah, this is a good question. I mean, they would have to regulate it more so, like considering like, is it a security or is it an asset? Are NFT
Yeah.
security or is it an asset, right? Like, or is like is crypto like a commodity or is it a security, right? Like those are what they're going to be able to regulate. And once they regulate that, then all of those like assets are under like the like their respective regulations, right? Like if it's a commodity, it has commodity regulations. If it's a security, it has security regulations.
Okay.
Then every other company, like I don't think it's going to be a regulation on people. I think it's going to be a regulation on like the asset class, and it's going to be a regulation on companies.
Okay.
Right? Because and then they'll have to regulate like companies underneath the SEC, like securities law. Okay. Or they'll have to regulate companies under commodities law, businesses that operate on commodities, right? As a business. And that would be like a trader or something, like whatever it is, right? So then those companies get regulated. And then once the companies get regulated, then they might need information on the customers. And so I think that's that's probably the likely way. Other ways of regulation include like, like they've done this already, but they can be like, hey, crypto can't like, if you're like, a US investor, only accredited investor can put $200,000 into crypto.
Yeah.
Only accredited investors can buy this. If you're a regular normal investor, you can't buy this because it's too risky for you.
Yeah,
you can lose all your money, right? So like they might do that. Like that's an opportunity. Like that's a potential thing that could happen. Yeah. But it's hard for me to say that they're gonna do that because then they let people buy like GME stocks.
Yeah, exactly.
They let people buy like stupid like penny stocks and whatnot without a credit. So I don't think like that's an opportunity. If they think it's too risky, they might put that in place. Or they'll just be like, you can only invest $30,000 into crypto a year.
Yeah.
Like they might create regulations in terms of like, because in their head, this is like, how do we protect the customer from putting 100,000 into a rug and then losing their life savings, and then the society's finished. Like so. It's a very interesting situation.
But okay, so I think, man, we need an episode 2 because I don't want to take all of your time because we're already over an hour. But like this regulation topic, man, like it's fascinating because again, like crypto is like the main thesis is like getting ownership of your finance, right? So like if you make a mistake, like is that because you did something bad or because you buy an NFT but then you are not aware of like the information in the backstage and then the insider trading, etc., the same shit that we can see on crypto Twitter and like pump and dump schemes. How do you take like ownership on that? Is that your fault even if you bought a pump and dump stuff? Like, okay, do you still have time or can we go over that too?
Yeah, we can go over. Yeah, we can definitely go over that. I got like 10 minutes.
Okay.
And then we can definitely. I mean, if you want, we can always set up another episode 2 to talk about this stuff too. I'm always down to chat about these topics.
100%. But yeah, we should set up another space, so we can like take our time to talk about that. But man, I think we will wrap it up. But man, this is really exciting. We're really happy that you're here, and man, I can't wait to have another one. Guys, if you have any question for CryptoApe, do not hesitate to ask your question on the YouTube Lab or even on Twitter's page. Jump on the stage. We can take like a couple of questions before we wrap it up. But yeah, okay. So we're not going to talk about regulation right now because that's gonna be a black hole. But like you also like have like a lot of Twitter space. Like you host a lot of spaces. With like your company like Multi-Chain Advisor. Do you see that like a vertical that people also needs to build their audience and like have some like the social currency to increase like the performance of your portfolio? Is that like part of your strategy in investing? Like, why do you do like Twitter spaces?
Honestly, for me, Twitter spaces, since I run a Web3 consulting company, right? So one of the things when you're running like a consulting company is you want to make sure like people know that you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And like you can't be a consultant if you don't know stuff.
Mhm.
right? Like no one's gonna pay you to help them consult stuff if you don't know anything.
Yeah.
So Twitter Spaces is a way for me to like share that knowledge,
Mhm.
share the free advice and share like my insights for projects. So I do two types of spaces.
Nice.
I do the daily spaces, which is like or
Mhm.
morning show. I do the multi-chain morning show, which is every Monday to Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern. It's
Mhm.
like a 1 hour show. We talk about the news, we talk about the markets, we talk about all the stuff. We talk about regulations, we talk about all the
Nice.
crazy stuff that's happening in crypto. It's not just about Solana, it's multi-chain. So
Yeah.
it's all kinds of news, right? Oh, can
Did
you hear
I?
me?
Yeah, I think it's slowing down for. Oh, I'm losing the connection. Okay, I think it's coming back. Okay, I lose it for a second. That's fine. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, like honestly, I noticed it during the show, like when you start like to quote like the number of supply for the monkey and like the even like the KPIs of like others, etc. Like that's what I said. Like yeah, you know exactly what the fuck you're talking about, man.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Yeah, no, for sure. Like, so that's it. So, like, you have to definitely know things because if not,
Yeah,
like, you can't be a consultant. Because if your client
100%.
is like, coming to you and be like, "Yo, you don't know what you're talking about," then like, there's no business. You know what I mean? So,
100%.
uh, that's one definitely one area. But it's also just to stay updated, right? This just forces me, like, this forces me to stay updated on the crypto news. It
Mhm.
forces me to educate people on the crypto news. So, and it's also a fun way to just hang out with my community and hang
Yeah.
out with like my friends, right? Like, so that's every like Monday to Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And then we
Nice.
do the Everything Crypto Show, which is every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern.
Okay,
And
man.
that, sorry, were you gonna say
No,
something?
no, sorry, but I just wanted to say like I need to show up to your show like more often, man.
Yeah, yeah, bro. Come through anytime. Like, I'll even
Nice.
bring you on as a guest if you want to come on like the Everything Crypto Show. You can. So what we do the Everything Crypto Show is like we usually have like 6 to 7 projects that
Mm-hmm.
come on that space, and we pretty much are like, we let them pitch their project for 2 minutes. It's kind
Mm-hmm.
of like a Shark Tank. It's kind of like a Shark
Nice.
Tank. So they pitch their project for 2 minutes. They let us know what's going on, and we ask questions like me and the other guys in the spaces like who are official guests or subject matter experts.
Mm-hmm.
They ask questions on these projects, and then based off of that we give them advice either on the in the spaces. They'll sometimes get advice. They'll get partnership recommendations. They'll get like feedback. Like, we'll give them feedback. If the idea doesn't make sense, we'll tell them straight up like, hey, this idea doesn't make sense, like, you should do something else or like try
Yeah.
this approach. So it's like a free consultation on the spaces. And we have 7 projects that are there. And we go through every project. Each project gets like 20-25 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been going on for almost a year now. We've been doing that. This is volume 62. We just did yesterday. Was
That's
volume
cool.
62. And funny enough, Alex, like Shilling the villain, jumped on the
Yeah.
space, and then he started asking questions. So yeah, so those are like, for me, it's just a way of like giving back to the community, also educating folks, and also like showing people that we're not like we know what we're talking about. We're not like a fake consulting company.
Nice. Man, like okay, I need to show up. I'm really hype and like ready to do that kind of exercise. Can I do 2 rounds? Like the first round, like first week, I pitch, and then you give me advice, and then I coming back 2-3 weeks after, and then I pitch again, so we see if there is any progress.
Yeah, yeah, we can definitely do that for sure, bro. 100%.
Amazing. Okay, so yeah, I will come into your DM after the show, man.
Sounds good, bro. Sounds good.
Okay, so I have just like 2 last questions before we closing the show. Okay, so what would be the question that you wish people ask you, but they never do?
Hmm. That's a very good question. I think maybe, why am I doing this?
Yes. What's your
You know,
why? Yeah.
yeah, like, I don't think most people, we just go about our days. Even my team, even me,
Yeah.
even like my clients. No one ever asks like, why are you doing this? Like,
Mhm.
why are you in Web3 full time? Why are you like doing a consulting company? Like, what is the reason behind this? And I think that's definitely one question that I don't know if I even want people to ask me, but like, it's just something that we don't like ask anyone, right? You don't ask
Yeah.
anyone like, why are you doing this? So I think that's an important question.
And so, do you want to answer yourself?
Yeah, I mean, why am I doing this? I mean, for me, I've been in consulting because I like helping, people. I like helping projects. I think adding adding value and whatnot is very important for me, and so I think that's one of the reasons why I do this. In terms of why I'm building a business, Web3, like the reason why Web3 is because Web3 is very fast. It's very quick. It's very, fast paced. There's so much going on. It just moves like lightning speed. This reminds me of like, what tech probably was when the startup scene happened in Silicon Valley. So it reminds me of how quickly things are moving. And, I think those are some of the reasons. Like, that's why Web3 and why am I doing this is because, I want to help companies. I want to create, I want to help. I like the feeling. The best feeling is when you, help a project, either successfully launch or, successfully reach whatever goal they want from our consulting engagement. And they're happy about it. They're fully like, they're super grateful for you, like, because you've helped them, and like now you guys are friends. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's like the best feeling for me is like when you can add that value to your clients, and like now they're always going to be like, CryptoApe, that's my boy. That's my guy. That's my guy. He's helped me. He's such a like Multichain's like that company, right? So that makes me feel happy. That makes me feel like satisfied, and that's the main reason that why I do this and why we have a company doing this.
Wonderful, man. And like, have you already met like your customers in real life? Like, for example, in NFT NYC, are you gonna to meet them?
Yep. I met a few of my clients already in real life, like NFT NYC, Breakpoint, NFT Miami. Like I've been all over. I was in NFT NYC last year as well. So I met a lot of my clients in real life. Some of my clients I actually got because I met them in real life. So because crypto space is weird, right? Because like you don't know who like anyone is. So like people might not want to work with an anonymous guy.
No, 100%. And like you like the relationship in Web3, like it's like way faster than anything in real life too, right? Like you're gonna browse like everyone, even if it's a cis and stuff like that. You don't know the people; they're your best friend, and like then you meet them in real life, and then like there is an instant connection too. Like the feeling is like it's amazing, man.
It's really, really cool. 100%. It's a very, very cool, scenario. Where like, it's kind of like, it's very interesting. Yeah, it's such a weird space, but it's really cool. The vibes. It's all about the vibes.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about the vibes. Are you going to NFT NYC next week?
Yeah, I'll be there. I'm actually presenting. I'm presenting on a panel in NFT NYC.
Nice. Okay, so I'm gonna see you there, man. Like I'm gonna see a lot of my guests on the show. You will be one of them, man.
Awesome, bro. So let's link up. Let me know which parties, events you're going to, and then we'll meet up at one of these events. Well, I don't have a Decod anymore, but
I can lend you one. The monkey DAO is doing a couple of parties too, right? There is one.
There's one, yeah. There's one party for monkey DAO. Yep.
Oh, okay. So I will probably gonna see you there. You will find me in your DM. We're gonna find some like 5 minutes to meet each other. It's gonna be fun, man.
Sounds good, brother. Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it.
And okay, last question, and then I promise you I will let you go. Who should be the next guest of the show, and can you make the introduction?
100%, bro. Yeah. Who have you had on the show already?
Oh, bro, I'm like I think you're one of the 37 guests now, so in 3 months. So yeah, we do a lot. But like Elio, we had Elio. I should have showed the banners during this stream too. But like Degen, we are working together, so I'm so happy. And he's the guy who introduced. Make the introduction too, because he mentioned you during the stream too. So yeah, it's a full cycle. But I had like Alex from Blocksmith Labs, Drax from FFF. Man, a lot of people. Also content creators. We had like Simon and Ricky from the Monkey DAO. Like we are like bringing here like all of the big names of the industry, man.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. You said Helio, right? Helio was on. Stein was on, right?
Yes, exactly. I Stein. And like, man, like with the Watch to Earn meta that we are building on the channel, we are using Helio Play to implement that too.
Amazing,
So
bro. Amazing.
yeah,
That is really, really good. I
yeah.
think you guys should bring on Anton
Oh yeah, yeah. From
Restuta
Sharky, yes,
from
nice.
Sharkify. I
Yes,
think he would be a great, person to come on here because
yes,
he can talk about lending, the future of lending.
yeah,
He can talk about like how, Sharkify came and took over the market and
yeah.
like, all that good stuff. I think he would be a very good guy to talk to.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Like I also like I did a space like yesterday with him, like with
Yeah.
Divine Dog, because we also have like a DeFi show specifically, and he was like
Yeah.
one of the guests. Definitely a great guy, man. Like yeah, I need to have him on the channel. It's gonna be a good one.
100%, 100%. I'll connect you guys right after this. He's one of my
Awesome.
good friends. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think, man, I think we're good. Like, do you have any last word, any last announcement, any alpha that you want to do, like to announce, or like any good play for the people still listening the space on the YouTube stream?
Some alpha. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I mean, I'm like very like confused what's gonna happen. Usually crypto dumps like with the conferences
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
NFTs
true.
have already had a decent run up. Like, NFTs in general have had a like OK Bears pumped hard.
Yeah.
I think Galactic Geckos might be a sleeper.
Okay.
I do think Oogie will be a good play on the when Oogie's dump after the reveal.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a really good play. Other than that, like Sharky, I think is always, I still think Sharky's undervalued, for what they got going on. But yeah, I think
Mm.
those are probably some good plays. Like Oogie on the dump, that's what I'm gonna be doing.
Okay.
And
Makes sense.
also, I think that's gonna be a good play. So yeah, just watching around, I don't know, it's a weird situation. Like we had a big like a lot of big rips on the floor price across
Yeah.
NFTs.
Oh, 100%. And yeah, like Emmanuel, you're right. The real alpha is Decod3rs too. But we are not on Magic Eden yet, so you can buy on NFT yet. Just wait a couple of weeks, maybe months. Yeah, man, like crypto, like thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Like we were like way above and beyond the hours. Sorry about that.
No
But we need
worries,
to
no worries.
schedule another space, and I will come another stream, and I will come to your space too, because like yeah, I want to continue the discussion.
Sounds good, bro. Sounds good. Yeah, all the pleasure is mine. This was super fun. Love, chatting, like not like Degen stuff. I love chatting like, real life like real like
Exactly.
knowledgeable stuff about crypto. So this is good.
Yeah.
And
Thank you so much.
it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so everyone in the on YouTube and in the space, don't forget to follow CryptoApe and Multichain Twitter accounts, because like you saw it, you hear it, he's the big brain of the industry. So it's only gonna be beneficial to follow him. Again, thank you so much. Subscribe to the channel because yeah, it's gonna be a Decoder whitelist way to get it. And yeah, we will see you in the next live, in the next space. And yeah, we will see you on the timeline. Thank you so much, Crypto. Again, like, thank you again. And yeah, we'll talk soon, man.
Awesome, bro. Always a pleasure. Thank you for having me. This is super great. And yeah, talk soon, bro. Let's chat soon.
Thank you so much.